Hi everyone, my name is Karanveer Singh. Welcome to my channel Book Bucephalus. And in today's video we're going to talk about one of the finest books that I've read so far, the legendary Japanese samurai, also known as Miyamoto Musashi from Musaka. So this is my 102nd book, and for those of you who are following me on Instagram, you guys know that I'm reading my next book, which is Diogenes, this gentleman over there, this sitting from Corinth, who was very rebellious. I began to read it. I've just done like 10 pages so far, and I must say that it's quite captivating. So if you haven't read that book, you should go ahead and buy it from Indigo, or probably get it online. So the first thing I got as a takeaway from this book is that if your energy is not channelized in the right way, you will not get results. So one of the instances in this book is when Musashi, who's quite young, and he takes along his friend Marahaki to one of the battles in Sekigahara, and unfortunately these guys get defeated. They don't get to win because they don't have the right technique to attack. They don't have the right strategy to fight against the enemy, so they lose. And that's the turning point for this gentleman, and he understands that there has to be some way to understand discipline, to understand the right use of the power. That's the first takeaway for me from this book, which is when you have energy, when you have power, it's really important to channelize it the right way, because otherwise it's just like a scattered energy. You're doing a lot of things at the same time, but you're not reaching somewhere. So technically, focus, like you're literally focused on one thing at one point of time. I also have another book which is called The One Thing, which extremely in detail talks about focusing your energy on one thing at one point of time, because in today's world where everything is getting so multitasked, like you're kind of taken as a human being who can start multitasking from the day he's born, which is not exactly the way it should be. Many people put energy in single thing, like if they're eating, they'll just eat. If they're listening to music, they'll just listen to music, because in that way they can get more into the flow of doing that thing. So that's my first takeaway, channelizing the energy in the right way. Number 2 from this book will be when you're mastering something, when you're trying to understand the technique to do something, it's really important that you don't get into the element of ego. When I say the element of ego, I simply mean that you don't get too proud about what you're doing if you get perfect in that. Because even if you get perfect in something, you still have to keep learning, because nobody's perfect in anything. Even the so-called perfect people, what happens to them is that they become more modest, they become more humble, and if somebody praises them, they simply say that I'm not even pretty good in it, I'm just trying to learn it. So that's the second takeaway, which is if you get good at something, just don't boast about it. Don't get too much proud about it. Don't take it as a world of pride, because even if you get expert in something, you're still learning. So it's better to not be egoistic. On number 3 is the power of love, shown in this book, has a magnificent impact. Love is beyond everything, because the way one of the characters, whose name is Osugi, the old wicked woman, she's torturing a young lady called Otsu, who also happens to be Musashi's girlfriend, and then girlfriend or lover or wife, you can say whatever you want to. So Osugi is in constant attempts to torture Otsu all the time throughout like a couple of years. And then Otsu is taking that torture on her body and her mind and her soul without even saying anything, without even complaining. But eventually what happens is that at one point in time, Otsu happens to save Osugi from the clutches of death, and then the old woman Osugi has a certain change of heart, and then she becomes indebted to Otsu, the same young lady that Osugi has been torturing for so many years. You'll know that when you read the book why she's torturing her. Now this change of heart comes because Otsu, despite of getting tortured by this old woman, comes back to save the same old woman, and then that old lady has a change of heart, and then she starts to love Otsu. She starts to nurse Otsu for making sure that she becomes better in her health. I think this change of heart is something that only can happen with the ultimate power of love. Like, if you don't have that compassionate, if you don't have that grateful heart, you won't be able to forgive and forget people. And mind you, if you have a lot of hatred for people and you keep it in your heart, you're probably doing yourself a lot more worse than doing something to somebody else. So love everybody. Why not? And the last thing I'd like to talk about from this book, which is really, really important, is the power of being quiet. I think the way this guy Musashi transitions from a wild young board into a completely disciplined man, completely disciplined Japanese samurai swordsman, that's very interesting. So this guy, when he understands that he has power, he turns out to be quiet. Like, he doesn't want to have any kind of show off. He doesn't want to show the techniques of his fight to anybody. He doesn't want to do any kind of celebrations upon his victory. He doesn't want recognition. He doesn't want admiration. He doesn't even want any kind of credit for anything. He just wants to practice and practice and practice. So I think if people understand that the more you practice whatever you're doing, there will be bombardment of opinions from around the world, like from all parts wherever you live. But you gotta be quiet and just focus on what you're doing. That's how you can eliminate those opinions and just focus on what you're doing. So because he was practicing swords, not just 1-2 swords, he just focused on that. And I think, yeah, so everybody must focus on whatever they're doing. That's the ultimate simple solution. People will keep saying whatever, but just do what you're doing and don't worry about what other people say. So I wish you guys all the very best. Keep reading, keep enjoying. I hope you guys have a wonderful year ahead. Keep yourself safe and healthy, and see you in the next video.